All right. So the very first thing is going to be the core competencies of the McDonald's Brothers restaurant. First is identify their resources.
I think some of the resources they had, or one of them, is the building and the real estate, because they freaking hauled their building from one location to the other, so they wouldn't have to worry about buying another establishment.
Mhm.
And then equipment is another one. They had the custom designed equipment and the simplified assembly line for the food prep. So the speedy service system. So that's another one.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I think that at least in the movie, he pointed out that their name was just something that was just different. That it was easy to McDonald's is consistent. I think
Right.
an innovative concept, just to
Mhm.
have the speed to have them walking to the counter. That's something that um, wasn't out there before. And I put for like one of the main resources is the brother Dick. Like he like is the one that came up with all of that concept.
Right. Yeah, as one of the main resources as well, I had they had a good partnership, just the
Mm.
relationship they had together to run their business and operate. I think that was a huge resource on their part.
Yeah. I mean, most companies, well, smaller companies that are successful, like you learn, like it's like two or three is like the key number of being in a good spot to like be successful because not like one person can't do it by themselves. So like having a good relationship with your partner is important as well. And I was gonna say location, so the building, like you mentioned, and then as well as kind of what you touched on, Anthony, the reputation that they built for themselves.
So what I'm getting from this is for tangible resources, they had the physical location, the building in Bernardino, and then the equipment, and then for the intangible resources, the partnership between the brothers, the brand and the concept, and their reputation for quality and speed.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Awesome. So
Um,
maybe we can talk about the capabilities next, or the
Hmm.
competitive advantage.
yeah,
Capabilities.
I think one of their capabilities that they had is when they identified switching their like to the disposable wrappers and everything to kind of to run the business more lean and cost efficient, and cut corners, not cut corners, but shed some fat off the meat, to say the least, right? um, by doing that.
I also think that their ability to serve a large number of customers quickly due to one, a simplified menu, and that is prepared regularly and quickly, and then two, being able to provide a fast and friendly service. So like high quality, consistency, and like operational efficiency and menu simplification are two of the things that I would say are one of their capabilities.
Yeah,
Yep, that
I
sells.
actually had quick service and quality as like two of the top capabilities because they were very, very concerned about quality and making sure that it fit what they absolutely wanted and um, not to veer from that. And when they had the extra restaurants opened, they weren't meeting the quality, so they didn't see that as a success. So yeah, quality was definitely one of the things for me.
Yeah, and sorry, my dog's talking. Um,
It's all right.
and I would agree, like, but I also find it interesting because they were providing quick service and quality, which usually, like, nowadays, those two don't really go together. Like, if it's quick, that's great, you get what you get. But most of the time, it's like they might have messed up your order or something, but at least you got it fast, which they were hammering on the quality part too, as well as being there, like quick for their customers.
Yep. I
Good.
think one of the sorry, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. Go ahead, please.
One of their capabilities, I think, as well, was Ray Kroc to establish those franchises and being that individual to go out and try to franchise for them, um, to their expectations with the contract and everything.
Awesome. And then I think the other portion was the core competencies.
Yeah. um, I think one of the biggest core competencies was the pride in their business. you know, the just the interaction they like to have with the customers. You know, even Ray, when he would go around and pick up trash, police call, and be upset when people were just loitering around, because it was a reflection of their business. So I think the pride that they had with that was a core competency.
Had I was looking at core competencies as like their strategic advantages, and one was that it's a unique concept. It's fast and it's simple. The menu is so simple that they can turn out things so quickly, and that was an advantage over competitors, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree. Like sometimes simple is the best way to go, especially when you're trying to be quick. Making it overcomplicated is just gonna completely throw out the quickness in the equation.
I also think that the kitchen's layout and the design was also pretty valuable and rare as well, because it was designed to optimize the space and the movement, which, you know, it ties into the operational efficiency, being able to, you know, provide quick service and high output with minimal effort. So I think those are the core competencies for McDonald's. Well, the original facility. Would you all want to move on to the McDonald's Corporation now as a whole?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that also, like with the core competencies, like they had set goals, which like it's not tangible
Good
or
point.
anything, but they stuck to exactly like what they wanted to do, so that also serves them well.
No, I agree with that. I guess we could start with talking about the resources that McDonald's Corporation as a whole has now, and of course, it's drastically improved since their time, since their conception in 1940. Some of the resources that I had written down were, I guess I'll speak on the physical resources, right? Like over 38,000 restaurants worldwide, including company-owned and franchise locations, which are located in high-traffic areas. So I think their brick and mortar presence is one of their biggest tangible resources, especially considering the fact that McDonald's is a real estate company just as much as it is a franchise company, which blew my mind. So I'm going to say the biggest one for me was their physical resources.
Okay, yeah, definitely. I was kind of thinking of McDonald's Corporation at the time during the movie. I didn't really think about it as today's age, which is a great point you make. So at the time with the McDonald's Corporation, I think the managers and the franchises that were established across the United States was a big resource for them, and franchise with the franchise managers at each location to manage them.
Yeah, and I think for the corporation, I didn't catch the guy's name that he thought he was trying to sell him ice cream, but he ended up coming in and helping him um, create the real estate company. I think he was a very valuable resource. And then also, is it Roy or Ray? I think it's Ray, right?
Ray, yeah.
Ray. Yeah. I mean, I think he's also extremely valuable resource. And then when he um, included the um, the restaurant owner's wife, she seemed to be another great, you know, intangible resource to add like her mind on growing things. Um, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Shelby, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I agree with pretty much everything else said. Like Ray was definitely one of their most valuable resources when it came to franchising for sure. And then also kind of like touching on McDonald's in like this day and age, you know, like it's globalization, like how it's gotten way further than the brothers probably thought it was gonna be. Um yeah, like going into all those different markets, like there's not like a ton of McDonald's that are outside of the US, but there's like a good amount that makes it a substantial global organization. Whereas, like, had it stayed the way that the brothers wanted it, it probably would have been smaller. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say Whataburger's a small chain, but you know how it's taken so long to expand because they wanted to keep it in Texas so bad. So
More
it's kind of,
contained.
yeah.
I also think it's pretty cool that they have like technological resources now. Like, I mean, if you look at your Chick-fil-A's and your McDonald's and stuff, like the apps, the reward programs, self-order kiosks when you go to these advanced stores, like the more modern McDonald's, I think that's also one of their tangible resources. Um, what's it called? As far as intangible resources go, I think, I mean, we've kind of touched on it, but the the franchising itself is amazing. The network of franchises provides such a steady income at a global level. So I think that's one of their bigger intangible resources.
Yeah. And still the name and the brand, right? The Golden Arches. You know,
Yes.
you see the Golden Arches from miles away, and you're like, oh, there's McDonald's.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they're still fast. I mean, I don't know, I don't go often, but they're not quite Chick-fil-A speed, but they're pretty fast. I mean,
Yeah, they are so speedy. I was going to say that too.
It's still the pre-made stuff. That's what it is.
Yeah.
and then yeah, probably the next item on the list is the capabilities. I think that's still a lot of the same, very fast service. They can feed a lot of people quickly. I think they're capable of, what do you say? They feed 1% of the population every day.
Jesus.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the
Yeah.
biggest change under capability is the capital, right? The money from the McDonald's brothers down to the corporation, just flinging money out there like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
and now if they want to roll something out to all of the restaurants, they're capable of adding a new product or removing one immediately. And you still don't have that capability.
Yeah. I would also bounce off of that because, they have their seasonal products or like what you would say is seasonal, like what was it? The McRib for a while was
The
seasonal.
McRib.
And the Shamrock Shake, that thing is a hit like every year, even
Well,
though it's
my
like
kids are
everybody's had it.
excited because they're about to have their Halloween buckets out in a few weeks. So,
Oh yeah, and the Happy
little
Meals,
things.
like
Hmm.
finding ways to engage the whole family. Not only like are they targeting like speed for like adults and convenience for the food, but they're also like, okay, well, like let's make it fun for the kids at like a low cost. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
with that, they make partnerships with, you know, if it's a Disney movie that's coming out or whatever, and that's what the theme for the Happy Meal toys are as well.
I also think one of their capabilities is their supply chain management. I mean, just to think the sheer amount of supply chain that goes behind servicing your McDonald's domestically and internationally, you need to have great suppliers who are providing you that consistency that your brand is known for, and then also making sure it's provided to each store on time. So I think that's definitely one of their capabilities is their supply chain management.
Definitely.
Hmm.
yeah.
What about their core competencies?
Um,
I mean, they're kind of the same in the
Yeah.
fact that like, they're doing exactly what they're trying to do is be efficient. And while personally, I would say not every McDonald's does meet a quality standard, like they still meet a standard, which is most of them are very good, like good with like kind of being consistent. Like the food is like not really an issue, but sometimes like I will say like some of the restaurants get a little caught up in how quick they need to make things and your burger looks all like crazy and not a burger, but most of the time they stick to those capabilities and they just kind of funnel it out.
Definitely think that's one of their core competencies is consistency. Every time you go to a McDonald's, what it's going to look like, what your food should look like. I mean, obviously there are those times where it's not as good, but how the fries are going to taste. That um, Diet Coke is going to be extra bubbly. Like what you're going to get from McDonald's, and it's consistent.
For sure. I guess with the time nearing up, we could talk about the competitive advantages that they have. And I'll start by saying the biggest one is brand power. they have strong global brand recognition, and they're able to cultivate customers' loyalty and trust, which leads to repeat business and, of course, strong marketing and results. So I think that's one of their biggest competitive advantages is their brand power. Like you were saying, Jose, you'll see a golden arch from miles away, and you know exactly what you're getting into.
Yep, exactly. And again, the speedy service system, right? That's something that they've kind of held on to over the years as you go on. Like you said, even to today, they're quick. So that's a pretty competitive advantage. I think Chick-fil-A gives them a run for their money, but in today's Asian day, but I think they've held on to that tradition or go for since the beginning.
Yeah.
I do think that with their size, like they are able to get things cheaper than some others, and they still everything's gone up in price, right? But they still are pretty fair price and low price option for many. So that's an advantage over some of their competitors.
Yeah. And I'll add, because I was going to say something along with brand power, but their customers always have pretty much the same expectation. Like think about when you go to McDonald's, are you expecting the best food you've ever had in your life? Or are you expecting it to be quick and filling? Right. So you know exactly what to expect. You're never going to have somebody go there and be like, oh, I'm just about to have like the best meal I've ever had, which I'm not saying that their food is bad. I'm just saying like they don't ever let their customers down pretty much. I feel like you don't ever feel necessarily let down when you eat at McDonald's. You know what you're going to get.
Right.
And I also think that they're also strategically placed. Like if you think about it, every airport you go to, international or national, like there's always a McDonald's, always in high traffic areas. You go to Budapest. I mean, you go to Italy. Wherever there's a lot of traffic and a lot of tourism, you'll always see a McDonald's. Even in Russia, well, Russia actually has their own McDonald's competitor, but not what's it called? You go to Asia, you go to the Middle East.
Tokyo.
There's Tokyo. I mean, all high traffic areas have McDonald's, so they're also very strategically placed.
Yep. And they just tailor their menus to the area
Yeah,
that they're at. Like when we're in Korea, heck, they have kimchi burgers.
yeah,
So it's just they adapt to their environment, and they're tailor their business to their market.
agreed. I think that's our. I think that's a great place to end. I think we've covered all the topics, and we're in the time limit.
Well, there's one more. Where is profit extracted from the value chain?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
One of the things I saw on that from the movie was where they were trying to switch to the powder milkshakes to cost, bring the cost down for refrigerators and ice cream, because that was the biggest expense that their franchises were having. So that's a big area they were trying to extract profit from. But the brothers weren't having it, so they didn't want anything to do with that, to diminish their product.
I had a couple other things on here, like especially when they started the real estate company. Now their profits are going to be a lot of it's probably coming from rent, from paying the leases, the franchises paying the leases on there. They also in their contracts, I think Ray was receiving like 1.9% or 1.4% of basically royalties profits of everything. So McDonald's Corporation is receiving that, and then of course the sales when whatever they're making off sales, they're getting a portion of that too.
Yep. He wasn't happy with that profit towards the end.
Yeah,
He wanted
yeah,
more.
yeah. I mean, I can get that, especially before they started the real estate stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think their speedy service freaking increased their customer throughput, bringing in that extra profit with the disposable wrappers and cups. Cutting costs with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
can say the shorter your line is or the faster it looks to be moving, I'm more inclined to stop there than the one that's got the, I'm not going to Popeyes when the line's wrapped around the corner because it takes an hour. Like,
Same thing at
Right.
Whataburger, right?
yeah,
Right.
And then piggybacking up what Jose said about, like, for example, Tokyo's menu or Korea's menu is a little different. I mean, yeah, that's, I guess, another way for them to extract revenues is making sure you have localized menus based on the geographic location.
Yeah, I would agree. They definitely touch on like what the customers around that location are gonna like. And I don't know if y'all, this is kind of comparing McDonald's to Chick-fil-A, but I don't know if y'all have seen like the special Chick-fil-A's that have like whatever certain menu that are in Atlanta, but like McDonald's kind of does the same thing in the fact that like they have special products at mostly international locations, but they make sure that there's something there that's like relatively close to like the culture.
Nice.
all right. I think we're at a good stopping point, y'all.
All right.
I think so.
All right.